season of Advent is upon us. The rush towards Christmas is here. I hope you're all busy shopping and baking and decorating and getting prepared. I'm not a Scrooge, and I don't want any of you to think that I'm miserable about Christmas, but there are a few things about the Christmas season that bother me. The number one thing, of course, starts long before Christmas. It is the way in which the shopping malls start to play Christmas music in September. You step into the mall and you're hardly thinking about getting back to school and back to work, and what's playing but Elvis singing Blue Christmas. Blue Christmas. Without you, it's so blue. I was just thinking about you. When all right, in your Christmas all have a blue Christmas without you. I only did that this morning because my mom and dad are here. And, they once signed me up for music lessons, and I survived 2 lessons, and I want them to know the money wasn't wasted. The other thing that bothers me is not nearly as funny as that. The way in which so many people in our society use Christmas as an excuse for celebration and for partying, even though they have no idea what Christmas is all about. And I look at those people and I grow miserable and bitter, and throughout the Christmas season I say to myself, they don't know what Christmas is all about. When I was going to school at Knox College, I had an experience with a group of people like that. Being a theologue, I was high and righteous and holy, but I was living in a residence filled with engineering students. I don't know if Bill McKechnie is around this morning, because I think he lived in West House of Knox College too, and he can verify these terrible stories. And when Christmas time came, the engineers started having their parties. They didn't know what Christmas was. For them, it was an excuse for drinking. They invited me to one of their parties, and I condescended to going to join them. And I was appalled. They were singing and shouting and drinking. There was not one element of theological significance to it. And I sat in the corner and I said those words again. They don't know what Christmas is all about. And then, to make it worse, one of the engineers whom I most despised, his name was Jack, and he was the most irresponsible, unreligious person you had ever met. Jack came into the party, and he brought with him a friend of his. And the friend was an old man, obviously a poor, lonely, grubby old man, and he was already drunk, and Jack brought this fellow in. His name was Billy, and Billy came in and he was drinking more, and he was leading the whole group in these old songs, and I said to myself again, they don't know what Christmas is all about. And I was so appalled at what they were doing and their lack of religious sensitivity that I left. I went home and I celebrated Christmas in a decent and proper Christian way. Through worship, through the adoration of Christ, through all of the appropriate rituals and all of those things set aside to make Christmas a blessed and holy event. And I felt satisfied that I had worshipped God properly and decently, and I recognized Christmas in the way it should be recognized. A couple of days after Christmas, I returned to the university residence to pick up some books for a paper that was due early in January. And the residences, of course, were completely abandoned. Everyone was home for Christmas. But as I walked down the empty corridor, I was met by someone. I was met by Jack. And he and I weren't really friends, so we passed each other in the corridor with just the slightest acknowledgement. But then Jack, after he had gone a few steps past me, turned and he said, "Mark." And I wasn't even aware that Jack knew my name. And I turned and I said, "Yes?" And he was clearly embarrassed and reluctant to speak.